I call him up like a week later, 2 weeks later.
I'm scared.
Me too.
He's in escrow on another house with another agent. And he tried to like, oh, I know. Trust me, I know. And I'm like, okay. And he was told.
And how many months are we in at this point with this guy?
2 or 3.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Behind the Lockbox. I'm Stephanie Zalewski here with
Cameron Barbier.
Today, I'm very excited for this guest. I hope that camera shot got his eyes. We have Toby Johnson with us.
Hello.
Hello. So Toby is an agent with EXP. You're still with them, yes?
Still with them.
And per his Instagram, real estate investor, surfer, and car lover. We actually need to talk about the car lover thing because I'm also a car lover.
Are you now?
Yes. So we need to,
Anything?
I like quite a few things. Not anything. Not anything. I'm quite picky, but we'll talk. We'll talk. I also like to drive fast. So if you have any race cars, let me know.
I have a buddy that might be getting a race car.
Ooh, fun. Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
We were chatting outside of Reba a couple weeks ago, and I literally was like, "You've been on my list," and I was like, "Would you come on?" And he was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll do it." I was like, "Okay, great.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Anything, right?
Yeah.
Of course." So anyway, I know you have a few stories for us because we kind of talked ahead of time. So welcome to Behind the Lockbox.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
welcome.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Where do you want to start?
Ooh. Where would you guys like to start? Honestly, because it's like, it's either I've got the one story, but then it's also I've got just stuff that I've seen on, whether it's on Caravan or whether it's on like just showing.
Caravan. Showing.
Yes. Oh.
Start with your story first. I think you
Okay.
were talking about it was one of your first deals and it kind of went south.
It was my first deal.
First
and-
deal.
First deal ever. And this was,
God, we remember those.
I don't know how long it took you guys to get your first deal, but I was sitting in the office, and this was up in Sacramento at my first brokerage.
Okay.
And I had the cubby of a desk in the corner, and I was just tucked in there.
I didn't even have a desk to begin with
I was
because it wasn't long because I joined our team that I'm on now still probably 6 months into the business, I think it was.
I think so.
And then I got a desk and we faced each other and we've been best friends ever since. Yeah. It was like we saw each other one day at Caravan. Her mom was like trying to set us up. I think I've told this story before. She was literally like, "You have to meet my daughter. You both have green eyes." And I was like, "Okay, Darcy, whatever." Yeah, both of us were like, "We're not meeting some psycho girl." And then we literally saw each other at Caravan. And it was like that slow motion where you're like, "Wait, that girl's going to be my best friend." And here we
Hair
are.
blowing in the breeze.
Totally. And I was like,
Some sort of power ballad going in the
literally,
background.
it was like Step Brothers. And we're like, did we just become best friends? Yes, we did. And then she was literally 2 months after having a baby. And I was like, "Hey, want to do a podcast with me?" She's like, "Sure."
Anything for you.
She's stuck with me for life. So anyway,
Yeah.
I digress.
Okay.
All right. So you, first deal.
First deal.
Yes.
I was probably 6 months.
Okay.
8 months.
Okay.
And I took
Which is pretty good to get the first
Yeah,
deal. I think
not
mine
bad.
was within 6 months or so, 6 months. Yeah. Which is fast. Not everyone can do that.
Well, it was nobody was on floor, and I was sitting there, and somebody comes up because I heard the phone ring, and I kind of look, and I just get this yell from the office, from our secretary. She's like, "Do you want to take a floor call?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever."
You're
'Cause
like, "Of course."
you never know.
Yeah,
you
you're
never
like,
know.
all right, come on.
So yeah, floor time.
I've gotten some deals off floor time back in the day.
I always preface it too because I told everybody in the office, I'm like, my first deal, and this is up in Sacramento.
Yeah.
I'm like, my first deal over $1 million guaranteed, and they're like, okay, sure.
You're like, "No, mark my words."
Yeah, they're like, "Have fun, Junior," and I'm like, "All
You
right."
were so full of life and excitement back then.
I was like, my soul
Now-
wasn't completely crushed.
Crushed. Now look at us. Yeah, exactly.
Never
Exactly.
done
I'm not bitter, but no, it was. So I pick up the phone, and the guy was like, cool. He was from Santa Cruz, and I'm like, all right, I can work with this guy. And he's like, I'm looking for something, and he's like, I don't know, my limit's up to 1.2, 1.3, and for El Dorado Hills in Sacramento, I'm
You're
like,
what did I tell all you people?
got
Yeah.
off the phone, and I was just like, what's up, So I get him to come out, because he had to come from Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And he was selling his place in Santa Cruz. So I'm like, cool, he'll sell that and we'll get it going. But I think I showed him 27 houses.
Wait,
And this was back when
this was pre-COVID.
this is pre-COVID.
Because in COVID days, we were showing 30, 50, 40, 60,
Oh, yeah.
100.
This was 2019.
Yeah.
And
that's a lot for them.
Yeah. Oh, and this
It
was also back
there was
when.
also more inventory back then too.
Yeah.
So,
But this is also when you loaded people up in your car.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I loaded him up in my car. I loaded his parents up in my car.
Oh,
and he was in
that's fun.
he was in his like 40s, and we're bringing his parents along for the
All
ride. So it
right.
was like field trip every day.
Entourage, cool.
It
All right,
was,
I dig it.
but not the cool way.
His dad's at every inspection, just like looking around, knocking on things.
It wasn't even that. So there was something
Off.
about my client, and there were times.
Did he still live with his parents before he was?
No.
Okay.
No, but he like had all this art and everything. He was just we'll just call him unique.
Yes.
As a good way to say it. He was very unique, but there were times where he would walk into multiple houses and he'd walk in, not even get 20 feet in the door, turn around, look at me and be like, no. And I'm like, cool.
Do you want to see the backyard? No.
I'm like, yeah, it was seriously that. It was just like, there was one, he walked in, he kind of goes, no.
The other agent's like,
Yeah.
Wouldn't you even be curious just to look around it? Like,
yeah.
And I'm like,
just like,
And look, I'm a girl who knows what she wants.
right.
right.
But if you don't want it, still look around.
I mean, you've been wrong in the past. Like, you never know.
Everybody's wrong at one point, and it's
Totally.
like, take a look around.
I mean, I like to think I'm not, but maybe sometimes. Anyway.
But we finally settled on a house. He walked in. He's like, I love it. I'm like, great.
Number 46. Got it.
Yeah. It was like, okay, number 28. Here we go. And we got into a deal, and it was a contingent deal on
Okay.
him selling his house. And
Okay.
here was the bummer was he missed the summertime surge in Santa Cruz, because Santa Cruz has a big, like, you hit it in the summer, and then as soon as the weather turns, because it actually
not.
turns up there. It's not like here where it just stays sunny all the time.
Right.
Like, it'll get
Right.
cloudy and it'll get crappy up
Right.
there, and it's just like,
People
So
just
he-
don't. Raining and
Yeah.
like the whole thing. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, he missed that summertime touristy surge completely, and he wouldn't take my advice. He wouldn't take his
And were you going to
agent's-
sell his house?
No. So he had an agent out in Santa Cruz,
All right.
and I'm like, I talked to her multiple times. I'm like, you got to get him to lower his price.
Right.
And she's like, I've tried. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to, possibly lose this deal. And I kept talking to the selling agent, and she's like, well, she's like, we're willing to work with you. I'm like, okay, thanks. And it's like, so she was stretching it on.
Where's that market?
Yeah.
Long gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, well, we got another
Although
offer.
I do
Peace
like that
out.
things happen a little bit faster now. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we finally we're good, right?
The house is in escrow. His house that he lives in now. Oh,
no,
shit.
we're in escrow, sort of. Inspections happen. Contingencies are on the way.
Due.
Like they're due. And then finally the other agent's like, we can't anymore. She's like, we've got another offer. We just can't.
Oh.
And I'm like, give me 2 more weeks. And it was just a cluster. So deal falls
And
apart.
at this point, when you had said I need 2 more weeks, there were not any current offers on his house. He's not budging on price.
He lowered it it was one of those, he lowered it $10K.
$2,500.
And you're like, cool, that's not gonna
$500. That's all I'll give you.
that's gonna do so much. And it's not.
No.
And his house
Was it
wasn't-
overpriced, or was it just that he missed
yeah.
the wind? Okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. He was overpriced because he had all this fancy artwork in it, which totally sells the house.
Sure. Especially when it doesn't convey.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So he had all this fancy artwork, and he, it was one of those, there was a lot of emotion behind the sale. He's like, well, this is the
best house
This is
ever.
the best house ever. It's the best one on the block. It's like, it's not special.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a 4-bedroom.
And it's rough. I mean, you
two-bath.
can't-
It's like, no.
He's like, my parents love it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like, everybody loves it, except, except for the people that want to buy it.
Yeah.
Like, so that lime green wall, let's talk about that. He's like, it's
Right.
art.
Yeah, it's all art.
Got it.
Yeah. So
your deal falls apart.
it all just went to shit, and it all fell apart. And I had people in my office, they come up to me, they're like, are you okay?
Oh.
And I'm just sitting at
full-on
my,
welfare check,
Oh, yeah.
shaking at your desk.
they're just like, are you gonna be okay? And then my mentor, because we were assigned a mentor in that brokerage.
Yeah, I was too back in the day. Yeah.
First 3 deals,
Yep,
you're
yep,
with a mentor, and it was
yep.
great.
Yeah.
You need that.
You
It's
really
helpful.
do.
Yeah.
It's super helpful.
Yeah.
And she comes up to me. She's like, she puts her hand on my shoulder. She's like, are you gonna be okay? Like, you're not gonna quit, are you? I'm like, no.
Like, guys, I'm
No,
fine.
I'm
I know
fine.
I know I look like I'm about to puke every 5 seconds, but I'm fine.
Here's the biggest rub is I call him up a week later, 2 weeks later.
I'm scared.
Me too.
He's in escrow on another house with another agent. And he tried to oh, I know. Trust me, I know.
been
And
there.
I wanted to jump through the phone and just wring his neck.
Yep.
That's the nice way of saying it.
100%.
And And I'm like, okay. And, he was told.
And how many months are we in at this point with this guy?
2 or 3.
Well, yeah.
Did you look up his house in Santa Cruz? Was it pending?
He finally sold it. So it was pending. So he was in a deal at another house that I was going to show him anyway, locally. And it was for like $875 or something. And
was he at least with the listing agent in the deal, or was he with some random other?
So what happened was some other agent sweet talked him and was like, I could have gotten that other deal closed for you because he's a new agent. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm like, you are a dickhead. No. So so some other agent like sweet talked him and like kind of backdoored me.
I've lost a deal that way.
And it's so messed up. And I'm like, well.
I actually lost the deal though to an agent who was brand new because I looked him up and it was like his second deal ever.
Yeah.
And he was on a team and he basically told my client, like, I can get you the deal if you only work through me. Like, we won't do a deal with that agent. And
right. That was basically the case. So, but I still know where, this sounds kind of creepy. I know where he lives. And
yeah, you do.
I'm going to just start sending him Christmas cards.
So let me tell you,
I know it sounds petty,
story,
but
I am about to list a property with that client because when, first of all, I found out through my lender, and I was like, of course, devastated, but I loved these people. Like, they were the nicest people. They were first-time home buyers. They were literally the nicest people.
They're so nice. First-time home buyers are the best. Usually. Sorry, yeah.
And they were.
Caveat.
And we had been spending a couple months together at this point, and they had walked into this open house, and I don't think I knew that they had been going or whatever, but my lender called me, and they're like, I have to talk to you. Are you sitting down? And I was like, why? And I was thinking like, oh, they weren't approved or something. He's like, they're in escrow on another deal. I mean,
got just twist
ripped out of you because you're just like, and again, I was newer. I was only like, I don't know.
You weren't that new though.
It was only like a year in though, maybe 2. Something. It was pre-COVID.
That's still new enough.
Yeah, COVID's 4 years. I mean, I've been doing this almost 10 years. I think it was probably 2 years in. Yeah, like the second year. And so, they eventually, told me, and I found out. And so what I did was when they closed, I brought them balloons and champagne and a card, and like I've sent them a Christmas card every year. And guess who's listed in their house this year? Sucker.
See, there you go.
Me.
Yeah.
And they've never heard from him.
Of course.
But tell them how they got him because they went to an open house.
And and he basically was like, you can only get this like if you basically buy this through me, like I can get you a better deal. And they didn't know. I mean, we weren't like months and months in. It had only been probably 2 months at that point.
He's just not a very friendly agent from the
No,
start.
I mean, and I think he just was like doing whatever he could to add an open house, and he was with some small brokerage, or I don't even know who it was, but it was
I had an agent, like I was the selling agent, and he's like, well, I can't do this deal unless you like pay me more commission because I've told her, because he was also her lender and everything. And I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
No, and that's when it's like
my manager had to call.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Like you're getting way too messy. And that's the thing. I mean, and again, I've said this so many times, but this is part of the reason we started this podcast, because people, again, they don't know necessarily what we go through. We work for free until we don't.
Right.
Until we get paid. And so those months and all that time in the car and all those blood, sweat, and tears, I mean, it can be super stressful. And again, you were working with this guy trying to get his other house sold. He's not budging. And so to lose out like that, it happens to the best of us, and it is gut wrenching, but it's part of doing business.
Have you ever figured out your hourly on some of those longer deals?
I
scary, isn't it?
Yeah,
there
was one deal I talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we were like the fourth listing agent. I have actually blocked the sellers. I no longer I will not do business with them. It was just really abusive and really, really bad, and I've never had anyone like that since, thank goodness. But it got to the point where I was like, no, I'm closing this bitch. Like, but the commission that I made on that, and like my partner in the deal was like, why don't you just keep all of it? Because he knew the abuse that I was taking, and he was like, this is gnarly. Like, this is just crazy. And so, but I added up like just for, I don't know why I did that to myself, like for shits and giggles, but I was like, let me just see how, I mean, it would have been triple what I made. And mind you, I still made a healthy commission. It was not like worth but I was like, I'm getting something out of this, because we were the fourth listing agent. They were horrible. And again, the other agent on the other side, thank God for her, so when we find each other like that, that's the other thing that I love about doing this, is like having all of you guys come on, and like when we see each other on the other side, we're like, we're gonna get this deal done, you know what I mean? Even when you are like the client's like, nope, write a super low ball offer or whatever you need to do. Or like, we don't see that, like, you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
You know? And so when we have each other on the other end, it's the best. So
it's funny because I'm always the one that's like, let's write a low ball offer. Like, I'm just like,
okay, Cam, when you see Toby Johnson's offers come in,
Noted.
be like, Steph, Toby wrote an offer. Don't accept it.
That's the
Don't
thing.
accept it. No.
I mean,
I would love to do a deal with you. I wonder what property. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I
what
sent
property
you a
that
low
was.
ball offer, but it wasn't me. It was my client. I'm just like, he's like, this is the offer. I'm like,
You're like,
I'll
what
write
can you
it.
do?
But also, I would just be like, tell me where you got this number from. Like, let's talk about it. Like, it doesn't need to be a thing. It doesn't need to be,
Right.
you know,
It's
somebody
just
just gets
business.
super offended. And yeah, it's just business.
That's the thing.
And then I'll be like, you're fucking out of your mind. I'm not doing that. Bye.
Yeah, and
That's
that's
a lot of the
that's where-
buyers
Yeah.
coming from. Like, they
Right.
like to do so.
Well,
low,
and
so
again, in the market that we've
like they
been,
win.
yes, in the market that we've been in, when everything shifted like it did overnight, sellers and buyers were having a really hard time with rates going up, with prices the way where they were. We have low inventory. Like we weren't in a normal. We're still not in a normal market, and so it's really challenging to get people to understand. Like the 2 and 3% is gone. Like it's gone. Trust me. I wish it wasn't, but it is, you know? And so we're trying to get people back to that normalcy again, where when we started, the market was normal. You know what I mean? Back in 2014, 15, 16, 17, like it wasn't the way that it is now. So anyway, but yeah. Well, you know,
I mean,
it's a bitch.
and it's all that learning process of just like, you know,
It
you
is.
have to go through just shit deals to
You 100%, and it's a rite of passage, honestly. Like I am actually grateful for that deal and for some of the stuff I've been through, because the stuff that I have learned is invaluable. And like I have clients that are looking and they're like, look, you know, we can really only afford, like, we're willing to go way out east, but we can't really do more than 800. Is that it worth your time? I'm like, of course it's worth my time. Like that's a big $800,000 is a lot of fucking money. Like, and for someone who's first time, I love that. Like, because they'll see some of the listings that we've sold and on our team and that I've been a part of, you know, these multi-million-dollar homes. But I got to tell you, it's all the same.
Yeah.
When it comes to having to do the deal and work out the business, it's all the same. So, you know, anyway.
Yeah.
But
So what were his parents like?
They were
great question, Cam. Let's bring it home. Bring it home.
They were really
Tell us more.
They were really sweet. Like they were really nice. Like I was more friends.
He was a
They
little
weren't
bit
like
of the
backseat
weirdo.
drivers or
yeah,
something?
yeah. I mean, they were just, you know, it was.
His mom's
it was
all the
like,
lights red.
Yeah, it was like that very kind of like typical Midwestern, like, oh, so what do you do for a living? I'm like, you know what I do for a living. It's like, come on.
They're just
like,
trying to like shoot the shit. They're like,
You're like,
you know,
I'm a
it's fine.
chauffeur, apparently.
Yeah, they got into the car. They're like, this is weird. I've never been in a real estate car without an Uber sticker on the back. And I'm just like, okay, that's my other car. So I actually, for that deal, because I had to borrow a friend's car for that deal because I was driving a 2-seat like rabbit, like nothing. I called it my disposable car.
You're like, I have parents coming. I need someone else's car.
no.
So I borrowed my buddy's like Infinity, like G35.
He's like, when are you going to be back?
And I'm like, Sam,
We're showing 12 houses today. I'm not going to be back all day. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, Sam, I gotta borrow your car. He's like, what? I'm all, you can borrow mine. I know it's not as cool as yours, but you're gonna have to help me out. He's like, you're my friend. I got you. And I'm just like, oh, thanks, buddy.
I'll
So,
pay you at the end. Oh, wait.
yeah.
There's been a lot of agents that have done that, especially to get like when they've gotten like, you know, higher priced deals or listings, or they're like, dude, I need to borrow your car. Like, you know what I mean? Listen, fake that shit till you make it.
Exactly.
You know? And also you needed the extra seats, number one.
I did.
So that was
I
the
did.
main
I was
problem there.
gonna
But
cram in the back. It was a 2-door car. It
you're
had
like,
back seats.
does trunk work for
but-
you?
yeah.
Or like folding the car or
It
the
was
seat up.
It was a little hatchback, you know, and it was just a nothing of a car. And I was just like,
Roof rack.
Yeah. Like, just hang on. Okay.
I really wish you would have had a motorcycle with a sidecar. You're like, come on, guys, hop in.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we should get one.
Boy, here she goes.
I'll put you in the sidecar.
It wouldn't be that
Thanks.
bad.
It would be so fun.
Totally.
We actually wanted a dinghy for the longest time because our office used to be here in the Shores and we were at Sotheby's previously. And so our office was in the Cove. And I hated that every time. Like, we told Brett, we're like, we need a dinghy with our logo so we can right into the Cove, but we never got one. Sad.
I could see you and Gwen
I want a golf cart.
Yeah.
in the side-by-side
Totally.
with her little goggles on or something.
Oh my God. She would not keep them on, but anyway, we could try.
You never know.
Gwen's my dog for anyone who doesn't know. I'm sure
I
everybody
figured
knows.
that.
That and my niece. Everyone's like, we get it, Steph. You have a cute dog and a cute niece. I'm like, I know. Tell me everything. Anyway, okay. That's enough about me. Behind the Lockbox is sponsored by Property Showcase Group. Property Showcase Group has a team of creatives, directors, producers, editors, marketing specialists, and designers that work in tandem to tell and share stories of the built environment. Whether you're looking for full-service production or simply just need content creation, Property Showcase Group can help take your business to the next level. To learn more or to contact Property Showcase Group to schedule a consultation, you can find them at propertyshowcasegroup.com. That's spelled PROPERTYSHOWCASEGROUP.com. PropertyShowcaseGroup.com. You
Yes.
had some weird shit you've seen?
Okay.
You need to look at your notes?
I do.
I love that you made notes.
Oh, of course I'd made notes. I was just, because I was actually.
He literally outside, he's like, Steph, I'm going to, and then I saw him the week after. I'm like, get ready next week. He's like, I got to make notes. I'm like, you can do
that. I have a
this.
note person too.
Yeah, same. You are a note person.
I am very much.
Do we want to start with gross or weird?
Gross.
Gross.
I'll give you 3 categories.
Okay.
Gross, weird, or creepy.
Gross.
Oh, hell yeah. These are the best categories. Start with gross.
Gross. Okay.
Yeah.
Then
we'll
weird,
start
then
out,
creepy.
We'll start out with Descanso. Had a client that was looking at stuff.
Descanso.
Yeah. And so it was this house that was built on rocks, like big rocks, like boulders and rocks and everything. So I'm like, well, let's go take a look. And it was like maybe 300K.
Okay.
This weird little like slapped together house. It started as like a little 2-1, and then
was it like teetering on a boulder? Was it safe?
Like
were there caissons? Like what are we talking here?
No caissons. Just like wood that went down to rock and just was sitting on it. Like it was crazy. That's not. But apparently how Descanso it is. So that's not the weird part or the crazy part. I was walking through like the underside of the house because I'm like, well, I'm gonna go check it out. If I'm here, I'm gonna go look because it's weird. On the electrical panel was a rat that had bit through some of the wires and just
got
fried itself there, and it was still hanging there. I might even have a picture still, but I think I finally
were putting that on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Like
I'll look it up, but I don't know if I do anymore.
I mean, they were like,
it was just still like fried to the electrical panel, and I'm like,
rat.
Yeah, fried rat.
Oh, just Descanso.
The agent didn't think to like maybe.
It was a weird ass little house anyway.
Maybe they didn't even find it, honestly, if they weren't like down there like
probably not
looking like who
charm
knows
to the house.
Yeah.
What was the rat's name?
Yeah, that burnt dead rat charm.
Sad. It even smelled like it a little bit still. We're like, oh, tragic.
Yeah.
Not that this is the same, but my daughter who's 13.
Where is this going?
Speaking of dead rats.
Speaking of dead rats, my daughter. I can see how you made those parallels, Camp. Like, that was great. Matt, are you hearing this right now?
It just happened today.
Oh.
We had some like exposed wire because we had the ring put installed in yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I guess he forgot to do something, and she went up and put her mouth on it and got electrocuted.
Wait, like
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Oh my God.
like full 110. Like
I don't know. I wasn't there. I like came home to her like screaming, crying.
Which one?
Which child?
Yes,
Pippa.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad it was Pippin. I mean, I'm not glad, but like if Blake would have, I would have been like, Blake, what are you doing? You know better. Like Pip is at least a baby.
But here, lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
She won't be licking any wires anytime
That's
soon.
true. That's very true. She really does like to like stick her hand in like the outlet and stuff. So maybe she's learned.
Do we need to baby proof? What is happening?
Well,
no, because you do it once or twice.
I'm calling her husband after this. I'm calling her husband after
he was
this.
the one watching her.
Oh, I was just gonna ask who was watching her.
Yeah, not me.
This is where
Mr. Barbier.
this is where I become a questionable parent, where I'm just like, they'll learn.
No, that's how I am.
kind of feel like Matt's the same way though. He's like, oh, she won't do that again.
Yeah,
like,
right.
So burnt rat, my daughter, same thing.
Right.
Okay.
Is her hair? I have questions after
She was
this.
just crying. I don't know. And then Matt went to go touch
probably
it.
just shocked her.
Yeah, I know. It was big.
Oh my God. Okay.
It sounds like a scene out of a movie.
Great. Should we probably edit this out? I'm gonna get like
CPS
Yes.
calling. I'm leaving it all in.
Yeah.
If you made fun of me about other things on the episodes, I'm leaving this in. We don't need to revisit.
Yeah, we do.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Okay. Anyway, burnt rat, Pip.
Burnt rat.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And now
I have like 6.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Keep it going.
Okay.
Tell us. Okay.
Went down to, well, there was one that was creepy, and I'm sure you've had this before, but so I like to look at flips.
Yes.
Or potential flips.
Right.
And this was up in Sacramento, and I walk into this house, and they're like, owner died in house peacefully.
Yeah, it
Cool.
happens. I just did deal with that happen.
Right. But usually that was like a few years ago. This
Right.
was like last week. Like you walk in and they're like, everything that's in the house conveys because the family came in and got what they wanted. which means
so like there's still dishes and
like used dishes in the sink.
Oh,
there's food in the fridge. Like it was literally.
The family didn't even like have the wherewithal to clean it out.
Nope. No. And you walked in and like it was one of these, like it was a definite like moneymaker, but like the outside, everything like ivy overgrown, like it was dark.
So it was like an elderly person that lived there.
It was dark and creepy in the house. There was a bed in the living room, which I'm assuming.
Bed?
No, it wasn't even a hospital bed. It was just a bed. And I'm assuming that's where they died. And it was like plastic.
Sorry for you.
Yeah, like plastic bags like all around the bed and everything. Of just like, I'm assuming it was all clothing and stuff that they just didn't want anymore. But you walk in and like, you get that vibe that it was the
it was probably still smelled musty and old.
It was old person smell, which has a smell.
Yes.
And so it was like old dust and then just death. And like you could just like is that weird vibe that you get as soon as you
got a weird vibe too.
Big like I can still like feel it. You know, like you walk in and even I brought my contractor.
Well, maybe he hadn't totally crossed over.
I brought my contractor friend and he's like, I can't be in here.
Whoa.
Like we were standing in the kitchen. He's like, I don't. Like, let's go talk outside. I'm like, that's fair. Like, that's fair. So, yeah, just creepy.
Yeah, it happens. So actually, do you know, Ryan Petacheski?
Yeah.
Okay, so actually the house he owns, yes. So it was a house, forgive me, Ryan, I forget what part of town we were in. North Park, Hillcrest, I think it's somewhere over there. I had shown it to my buyer.
Okay.
And then a couple weeks later, he's like, yeah, I bought that house. And I was like, what? My buyer and I walk in. And the agent was like, there was some communication issues. I'll just say that. And so we get there and I'm like, you know, he's like, it was his best friend's mom that had still been living there. But I thought she had lived or was living down below, but there was actually tenants that lived down below in that house.
Okay.
So it's on a hill. Views were fantastic. The upper had not been redone. The lower apartment, whatever, had been redone and it had the yard to it.
Right.
So we first walk in the upper and the lockbox is by the kitchen. So I get it out. My client's with me and I actually, Gwen was a puppy and he's like, bring Gwen. And I'm like, all right, I'll bring her with. Mm-hmm. So I'm holding her. She's little. And we walk in and we just like the kitchen door just kind of like swings open. And I'm like, and we're just kind of, and I look at him and he's like, it stinks. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just go in. So we go, I'm like, don't touch anything. This is during COVID. So I'm like, I went out and got masks for us. Like that's how much it stunk. We turn the corner and there is a hospital bed in the living room.
No.
Just shit everywhere. Like, and I'm like, I look at him.
Actual shit or just shit?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it kind of smelled like pee, if I'm being honest.
Fair.
And we like keep walking through and Gwen.
There a person in the bed?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it looked like there had been recently. And like there was like an IV, you know, there's like the whatever.
IV was still hanging there?
Yeah, the bag was still there. There wasn't fluids in it, but I was like, did someone just get, what is this? The hills have, like, what is happening? Like, I was literally like so glad he was with me. I'm like clutching Gwen and Gwen's like sniffing around and I'm like, don't breathe in. You know, I'm like putting a mask over her. I'm like, don't touch anything. We get to the back. The bathroom is just like, there's just shit everywhere. Like just stuff.
Like hoarder type.
Yes. And so we leave.
No.
I'm like, all right, let's go check out the bottom. There's tenants in the bottom. Mm-hmm. So then I knock on the door and there's a really aggressive, loud bark. And he's like, give me Gwen. You get the tenants out. I'll hold Gwen up here and like, we'll see. Gwen, they have a big, like, I don't even know, Great Dane. And it comes out and it is really friendly, but Gwen gets so scared she pees all over my client. She's a puppy. And I was like, why is she wet? And he's like, she peed on me. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's just getting worse by the minute.
Right.
We get in there, we see their place. It's like kind of lipstick on a pig a little bit. And Ryan's actually living in that unit now. I think he redid some stuff. Like, it was nice, but it was small. Yeah. I mean, it was clean. No. It was clean and redone.
It was great.
But like the treads on the stairs were kind of messed up. We'll have to ask him. We'll have to ask him about this. He listens, so he'll be able to. Ryan, put in the comments if you redid it. But he told me he's moving because it's just too small, and I get it. But it was wild. Like, I'd never seen like a hospital bed in like a place before. You know what I mean? Like, where I was just like, oh my God. But we've walked into some nasty places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Anyway, and James, I'm sorry that Gwen peed on you. He was like, we're bonded forever now, and I'm like, okay, great, glad. Anyway.
So.
Speaking of
shit everywhere.
Oh God.
Oh yes.
No.
Oh yes.
Literal shit?
Literal shit. Walking into, once again, another potential flip down in Barrio Logan.
You need to stop doing these things.
I know. Trust me, I know.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
but
There-
no.
Yes, but no, because
Yes, but
otherwise
no.
then I wouldn't have stories.
I mean, true.
But yeah, walked into a place and it had been gutted, like plywood on the window or lack of windows. Yeah, like Barrio
Stripped, basically.
Logan.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
Great
like,
tacos.
Great tacos.
Super good. But we're sitting there and it's like right across from one of the like a shipping like
Yeah.
Oh,
where they build ships.
Yes.
And
Down by the shipyard, I guess.
right.
Whatever those are called. Yeah. Yeah.
Makes me sound super
Port. The port.
Right, the port.
I'm with you.
know,
I'm with you.
The boat places.
That's something you would say. Actually, something I would say. Anyway.
And we walk in and it's two separate units. Front unit, totally stripped. Fine, whatever. And like that's you can kind of guess where everything is. We walk
Sure.
into the back unit and walk in through the door, and just right there in the doorway was just a nice big pile of shit. Like right in there.
On the ground.
Where else would it be?
Not in the toilet. Why would it be in the toilet?
Because there was no toilets.
Oh.
But it
Were there any squatters living there that you saw?
Because the place is all like locked
Was this
up and
fresh
everything.
or had it been there?
Did you examine? How well
Yeah.
did you
How
examine
well did
this?
you examine it? Did it smell?
Yeah, I didn't kneel down and be like,
Yesterday.
let's see.
Yesterday.
If I were a tracker and that was a,
Human?
oh yeah,
Okay.
definitely human.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There had to have been homeless people or squatters in there then, right?
Don't
The
know.
owner? You don't know.
I don't know. We walked
Wow.
in. It was locked when we walked in.
So who the hell
So unless it
knows?
was like a magical poo, which you never know.
Is that the name of this episode?
Yeah. Magical poo.
You never know.
Oh, damn it. Why
Oh,
not?
Toby, you gave me the name of the episode.
You're welcome.
Magical Poo with Toby Johnson. This is how it happens. We like come up with the names while we're talking.
Well, you never know what else I can come up with.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, it was a
That's wild.
It was just a blast. So
You see a lot of gross stuff, especially
do.
like we don't go, I mean, you used to, but we don't go into a ton of like investor flips and all that kind of stuff as much as you do.
Oh,
So
I walked into one. They said the floor needs a little bit of work, and I walk into it, and it was just floor joists.
Just
no
a little
floor.
bit.
There's no floor. Like I could look down
you're
and
like
see just.
stepping on each like
I
2x4, like
What?
No.
I was. Yeah, it was just
Just the joists all the way through.
all the way through.
The floor.
Yeah,
That's some good marketing.
Yeah.
The floor needs
Some work.
a little bit of work.
floor needs work.
It needs
Right.
floor.
Yeah, it needs
actually.
floor.
It needs floor.
Right.
That's a little work.
Besides that, it's fine.
That's hysterical.
Totally livable.
It's not wrong.
They're like, don't fall through to the crawl space below. Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
wild.
So-
You got to send me some photos when you're out and about now of like some shit that you see.
I think I'm
Not
good,
actual
but-
shit.
Just-
I don't want to see the shit on the floor.
Just this morning, I can't remember which listing it was, but just this morning, it wasn't like totally weird, but at the same
Okay.
time, it was still strange to me.
Okay.
Walk into a bathroom, very ornate, but also very like 50s. But surrounding the tub was floor to ceiling mirrors around a standard size tub. I took video.
Is this Vince Crudo's client from last week that showed up
Like-
in a robe and lingerie to greet him at the door? Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
wow. I don't have a story like that.
She was like 75, but
She was like, you.
Yeah.
You're my guy. You're
Yeah.
the one. That's hysterical.
I wonder what
I mean,
went on in that bathroom.
I don't
Yeah.
want to know. I don't want to know.
So-
Probably do.
I mean, you've seen some things.
Yeah.
Like there's
I block it out. It's like trauma response for us, you know. We're
Well,
just like, let's just block it.
so we'll go with the storage room first since I
Mentioned it.
Go ahead.
it,
Yeah. What was in there?
so I walk in and it was just the normal like
And are you like walking a property like,
no, this is caravan.
oh,
You really got to pay attention.
sorry.
Yeah.
Whose listing was this?
I
Just
don't
kidding.
remember. I don't remember. Yeah, I'll start to make notes on my
perfect.
sheet of where the creepy is. But it wasn't really creepy. It was just weird. So it was that normal like the flip top boxes that you get from Home Depot for just for
Oh,
storage.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a whole wall of those.
Okay.
Right, and they were all labeled very nicely, very like all nice and labeled.
Love the organization.
Yes, one was labeled pet ashes.
Oh.
Wait for it.
Oh no.
The one next to it, pet ashes 2. I'll send you the picture.
They just kept them.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say human.
I know. I was like, husband's ashes.
yeah.
Wait for
Grandpa.
it.
Like,
Ashes. Grandpa. Okay.
How many? Do you know those are fairly large? Like-
yeah. Wait. Okay. Was it see-through?
I mean, they were kind of clear.
Is it,
They were full.
They're full?
Full. Yeah. Like.
but even a big dog
Well, maybe it's like
Look.
multiple dogs and
Well,
animals.
Well, enough to have two crates of
boxes.
ashes.
Yeah, like maybe it's not referencing the animal. It's
Was the house
referencing
clean?
the box.
Yeah, it was very organized.
Obviously.
I mean, it's very. I mean, you organized enough to like
Keep your ashes.
Yeah, to collate your pet ashes. I mean, you're just like, look,
Wild.
just keep them together.
All
Yeah.
right, well, like they just kept dumping them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they weren't in like. Well, you couldn't really see it.
I didn't-
It
I'm not
wasn't
gonna
like just
examine.
loose ashes
Yeah.
in there
Yeah, it's not
Oh,
like they're
that's
gonna
what I'm
pile them all
picturing.
together. No. I'm assuming they were all like,
in baggies
you know,
or like
yeah. You know,
containers.
I thought it was a big like box of ashes.
no. It was just, but they were all organized, and I just thought it was so weird that they actually like
That's like
Pet
super
ashes.
Pet ashes
OCD.
too.
pet ashes.
Wow,
too.
yeah.
It's the name of the movie.
That
right
is-
there.
Or the name of this episode.
Magic poop and
Yeah.
Pet ashes.
pet ashes.
Magic poop and pet ashes with Toby Johnson.
Yeah. The other one that I saw, and this might just be my brain going that way, and
Probably not.
judge all you want, but
Probably not.
kind of along the same size or same lines as that mirror situation with the tub. I walked down, and this was on Caravan as well. I walked, and I don't remember what listing, so don't ask. But I mean, you may have seen it. Let's just say it was Greek themed. The house was
How long ago was this?
last year.
Okay.
Walk in, walk downstairs, and hang a hard left. Okay. And I look in this room.
I'm jogging my memory.
Okay. I look in a room, and it was, there was a bathroom in there. It was dimly lit, king size bed in the middle, mirrors on all walls. And I look and I go, this is their sex room.
It's like that's what I thought, like
Guaranteed.
sex dungeon.
Yeah. It's
Like they just knew. That was
oh,
it.
you totally knew. Like it smelled like creativity and shame. Like it was just,
Smells like creativity. Maybe that's the name of the episode. Oh,
But
it
it
smells
was
like
just-
Teen Spirit.
yeah, I definitely
Oh my
like,
God.
I also like just took a video, sent it to friends, and I'm like,
What do we think
like, yeah,
happened
is this?
here?
I'm like sex room, right? And they're like, most definitely.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Like it just had that like much like the creepy death house.
You know what's
This
so
had,
funny?
Like, the
I've
weird
actually,
sex room,
I've
like,
yet
vibe.
to find one of those. Like
Really?
where you walk in and like see a sex swing or like something. I'm sad about it.
Oh, I've seen
never-
hooks and ceilings, like heavy duty hooks and ceilings, and I'm
Yeah.
You
like,
need to be more aware.
you really do. Like you see
I
those
mean, I
heavy
still
duty
also
like
haven't seen dildos around. Okay, question for you.
okay.
Brandon, one of our guests that was on a few months back,
Mm-hmm.
happens to just find those scattered about on the streets of San Diego
all the time.
Well,
all the time.
I mean, like
He sent us a video like
Like,
a month ago and was like, look what I found, and stuck it on his friend's Tesla.
He
Like,
said like once a week.
like
right?
anywhere and everywhere, or is he just hanging out in like PB and
That's
OB?
what we thought. And he's
Yeah,
like, no,
he
I'm
said
like
everywhere.
driving down the street and I just see one.
like he literally sent us a video of him, and it was in the middle of the street. He stopped, put on his gloves, picked it up, threw it in the back of the truck. I swear.
I think we're just like not.
I have been
thinking-
looking.
Oh, you have? Okay,
because
I
I'm
need
like,
to
I
start.
think he's crazy, and I don't know.
I don't find dildos.
Okay.
But what I
But now
do
you
see,
will.
but yeah, now
So I haven't?
But what I do see is I see a lot of hats. I see hats on the side of like the freeway and just in roads. I see hats everywhere.
Interesting.
Like I almost wanted to start just an Instagram page and go and pick them up and just be like, this is, and just call it freeway.
You should.
Just call it freeway hats.
Freeway
and just be
hats.
like, just pick it up and be like, if your hat was here, I got it.
I left it for you.
Yeah. Like, no,
under
no.
the
Maybe you
overpass
could
of the
charge.
Yeah, right?
You know, make
Yeah.
a side
Seriously.
biz.
Little side hustle of like, I
Yeah.
found your hat.
Yeah.
It was on Garnet,
So wild. We need to keep our eyes open.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Or maybe,
Anyway.
like
I just have weird things. Like, your friend finds dildos. I
You find hats.
I mean,
I was gonna say maybe it's
pretty
someone
much
like
the
sending
same.
you a sign from the other side, but I don't know what Brandon's would be with dildos.
We literally asked him, I was like, so what does that say about you? And he's like, I have no idea. And I was like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we literally got a text video a couple weeks ago.
I don't think I've ever seen,
Yeah.
and I was a bouncer. I've seen some stuff. Like,
Keep your eyes peeled.
apparently,
He's going to text us next week and be like, you're never
Yeah.
going to guess what I found on the side of the freeway.
You're like,
I hope
now
it's on the
gonna
way
be
home.
hats and
Like,
dildos.
I hope it's on the way home too. I really hope it is. Okay.
dildos wearing hats.
He's going to find both and just stick the hat on the dildo. Oh
yeah,
my
it's like
God.
the little place to hold them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. You want to play a game?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Cam's going to ask you these 3 questions. I know you've listened, so you may have a couple of the answers figured out, but
I hope so.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead, Cam.
Okay, what's the craziest or pettiest thing that's ever killed or almost killed one of your deals?
It was the agent that wanted me to give up part of my
commission.
But yeah, he wanted me to raise his percentage so he could actually close the deal since he was also the lender as well. Here's the other crazy thing is I ended up writing his contract for his buyer. I wrote his buyer's contract.
Because he didn't know how?
Actually, I've had to do that so many times.
He's just lazy. And then he's like, well, I can't, he's like, well, I can't do the deal because I promised her this much. And I'm like, well, that's not my problem, dude. So, it was bad.
He's help me.
My manager had to call and everything. Like,
Did the deal close?
Deal closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have to give up?
Yeah. I was nice about it.
You gave up a little.
I gave him a little.
Yeah.
Still
Sometimes you buy the deal, but like.
Yeah. It still wasn't fun.
Yeah.
No.
But
No.
I got the deal closed. So it was.
And again, on a serious note, that goes back to like, what's the best thing for your client?
Right.
And if your client really wants it and this is what it's going to take to get the deal done,
yeah,
there's a negotiation to be had there somewhere. You know what I mean? So you can figure it out. But yeah, I don't love when that happens.
Yeah.
So,
I was just trying to be the bigger person. I'm like, look, let's
Toby.
just get it done.
Yeah.
Good job.
You know,
Just give him a hat.
I think I'd rather give him a dildo, but whatever.
Smack him with it, throw it at him. Here you go.
No, you don't. There's a company that will send people
Yes.
anonymously.
A dick in a box.
Dick in a box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We should do that to your dad. Oh, he's going to get mad at me.
No,
Well, you can't do it secretly now.
He doesn't want. No, Cam, you're gonna do it. Todd will love this if you do it. Just send it. No note. My mom's gonna. But watch, my mom is the one that opens
Yeah,
it.
probably. She's like, what's
Oh,
this?
her and my dad are on their own text string. It's like anyway. I don't know. They have their own
Really?
friendship. Yeah, exactly. And
That's weird. I mean, cool. Good for
It's
you.
not like one day she looped me in and I'm like, what are you doing?
please
She's
stop.
like, you're lucky I looped you in. I'm like, you don't need to loop me in. Like you and Terry just have your own conversation.
Like, take me out. Just take me out.
Just take it out. Like whatever. Yeah.
Fine.
Oh, anyway, she's like a second daughter.
Okay, what's your biggest pet peeve?
That's the different question. Oh,
My
Yeah.
sister-in-law came up with this. We were at Christmas. She was like, you know what question you should ask? And I was like, yeah, I'm down to like change them up. There's a couple others too. We're going to start changing them up a little bit because it's fun.
is this just like pet peeve in general?
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be anything.
Oh, okay. Ironically enough. No. Ironically enough. So the gym I go to, there's a question of the day, and this was actually a question.
Oh.
Oh, that's
And-
cool.
yeah.
That was cool.
So I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? It just bothers me is when people don't speed in the in the left lane on the freeway.
Thank you.
And it's like, look, the left lane is for you to take your life.
It is for breaking the law.
It is for breaking the
Yes.
law. It is
Yes.
it is to risk your life because
Yes.
that's the way it is. This is Southern California. If you're not doing 85,
Get the out
Yeah.
of the left lane.
yeah, if you're not doing
Yeah.
85 theoretically,
Move over.
Yeah.
move over. And
Yeah.
it's like the amount of people that I'm just turning into an older man. I'm turning into my dad. And
I'm already there.
You
which is
too.
I'm already
great,
there.
great and out, but it's like I'm starting to like flash
Oh,
people, and I'm
yeah.
like, just stay out of the
Yeah,
lane. Like,
yeah.
I wanna, risk my life. I want to be over here. Like,
Or when they like cut you off and then they go really slow. You're like,
Oh, you want to see me?
when they do the speed limit, ugh.
Sorry. Rules are meant to be broken. The speed limit is a suggestion in my book. Also, my neighbor was cracking up at me the other day because we went shopping on Saturday and it's busy out. It was our first sunny weekend in what
Yeah.
felt like months. And I know I'm so dramatic, but it
That's
was
such a San Diego thing to say.
I was
it's like
like
a fun week of rain.
It's been raining for 4 days straight. I
4
don't know what
days.
to do.
Actually, it was longer than that. Well, give us a
like
little
It was
credit.
like 6.
Okay, fine.
Either way. Yeah.
But
Half
so
days,
we're
but-
out and it's busy because everyone and their mom is out on Saturday, and I see this guy get in his car and we're waiting and my hand goes over the steering wheel to hug at him, and she's like, "You're going to do it, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to hug him. He better get first of all, that is one of my pet peeves. When I see someone waiting if I don't know, I'm like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry." Okay. But I am aware of my surroundings. So when I see someone waiting, I hustle. I get in that car, do my shit, get out of the spot so they can have it. Just like when someone's letting me cross, I'll kind of
always
run
run,
across.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like,
Even though I have
I appreciate it when
kids and
people hustle
dogs.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, thank you. And I just run across, you know.
Just a little half walk jog thing.
Yeah, totally.
Or when
just
they
show some
don't
hustle.
Show
Thank
some
you.
effort. Yeah.
Oh, and then if I let them
That's
go and they
pet
don't say
peeve.
thank you, I'm like,
Yes.
excuse you.
Yeah.
Also, why are you leaving a bus length in front of you at the stoplight?
I don't know what to tell you.
Full bus length.
Right.
I'm a hunker.
Oh,
My
are
neighbor
you?
was like, she was dying.
Where are you
She's
from
like,
originally?
Arizona, the West Coast. She's like,
But that doesn't make sense.
I know. She's like,
Yeah.
I think you were I think you were on the East Coast in a formal life
Yeah.
because you were like,
Yeah. Oh,
Cam
yes.
drives with me. I'm just like, yeah. And I'm not like road raging and rude, but I'm just like, maybe sometimes.
not to stereotype, East Coast New Jersey or New York
But
people,
people-
but they honk.
They do.
I
It's a
appreciate
thing out
it.
there. I
It
do
is.
too. It's communication. People around here, they're like, you honked at me. And I'm like, because you're in my fucking way. And also you're doing 60 in the 85 lane. Yeah.
There's a reason I have my windows tinted.
Same.
Very dark.
Same.
'Cause-
My brother's like, your windows are so dark. How can you see? I'm like, listen, I'm evading the law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're on the same page.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
One
Anyway.
step up from limo tint.
Mine's not that dark, sadly, but they're pretty dark.
I should have gone limo all the way around, honestly.
Isn't that illegal?
No.
Tinting is illegal. At all accounts, isn't it?
No,
You can go to,
tinted.
I think there's a certain
level?
percentage
Yeah.
you can go down to, at least on your fronts. Like, yeah.
I tinted. I just matched what the factory back was because I was like, that's good enough. But the back one, it's pretty dark. Mm-hmm. I dig it. I don't like a fishbowl. I don't need people to see.
Yeah.
They need to be like, ooh,
Mine
who's
is
in that car?
My car was a
picking your
fishbowl
nose or
when I first got it.
What?
Are you picking your nose or something? When you
No.
No, I just want. I don't want people to like.
Yeah.
Maybe. You guys will never know, will you? Because you can't see in. All right. What was the last one?
Okay, if you could be anything other than a real estate agent, what would you be and why?
I'm very interested in this for you.
Do you want to take a guess?
A professional surfer?
No.
A professional race car driver?
No.
What clues did you give
hat.
us?
Dildo? Distributor?
Maker? What? No, I don't know.
An actor.
Oh.
You would be so good. It's not too late.
I know. I've been in stuff before.
Have you?
I've been in background. I've done background on 13 Reasons Why.
No way.
I was background on The Offer. If you saw that, it was
No, but I'm gonna.
it was on Paramount.
Okay.
It was basically how The Godfather came to be.
So cool.
So like I was in a scene with basically, well, I wasn't in the scene with him, but I was behind them. It was Miles Teller and Giovanni Ribisi.
Wow. Ooh,
who-
Miles is hot too.
He was. He's
Can I come to set with you
He's a
next time?
good-looking man.
He's a good looking guy.
Yeah, and the one I was in a scene with one woman, and she was freaking out because
I would be too. I would be.
because-
They'd be like, "You're supposed to be an extra and keep cool." I'd be like, "I can't."
Well, and that was the thing. She turned to me. She's like, "Oh my god!" and
They're
and
like, "That's excuse me. We can see you in the background. That's
Yeah.
not what you're supposed to be doing." You're like, "Oh, sorry."
and so like when they'd start the scene,
Toby's like, "I know."
I was just like, he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. He was very humble.
Good.
He was very nice.
That's awesome.
But when he would turn around and like start walking away from us, and we were supposed to just follow him down,
Mm-hmm.
like in between like takes, I just leaned over to her. I'm like, just go smell him. Like that's what you want to do. Like let's be real. Just
she walks by. She's like,
yeah, just get up there and just. Oh, thank you.
It's a Breeze commercial.
"Oh, seriously."
But-
That's really cool.
I was on some lower budget stuff too, like super low budget, which I'm not going to give you the name of. So
What kind of low budget are we
Yeah.
talking? Toby?
no, not
Are you in
that.
the sex dungeon?
Yeah,
He's like, "Yeah, you know that storage room I told you about?"
yeah.
It's like I sent this to my friends because it's actually where I used to film.
Looks familiar, doesn't it, guys? I mean, brings back
We're
the
like,
old
wait
times.
Wait a minute.
No.
Oh, so funny.
I have been offered that before, but no,
Oh,
Did take it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good money? I don't know.
not for the guys.
Oh, really?
And the
interesting.
only reason I know that is because I may or may not have dated a porn star.
Well,
Yeah.
this is some good information.
I mean, I don't know you at all.
No, not a lot of people. I don't share that with a whole lot of people because
Well, you're just
Now you
sharing it
did.
with
I know,
everyone.
I
I mean,
know.
we have like, 5
All
listeners.
5 people that we listen
Hey.
to our podcast.
We like to think it's more.
I'm gonna walk into
but,
Reba next week and and all the guys are gonna be like, "Who is she? Which
Yeah.
one? Like, what's her name?"
There, by the way, love all my friends at Reba. There are quite a few that listen, so they are going to hear this.
That's fine.
Don't worry, this doesn't air for a couple weeks.
That's fine. It's whatever. I'll know when it does. Apparently,
Oh, yeah.
It'll be. Everybody will be like,
Everyone
Yeah,
at my
that
table is going to be like, "Who was it?" You
Yeah.
sit right behind us typically. Yeah.
"Yeah,
So Rob Brown, Matt Tovey, Ryan Petachesky, they're all going to be like,
yeah."
they're going to be mouthing
That's
to you
fine.
like, "Tell us who it is."
But I learned a lot about that industry.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Is
She's
she
still
well
in
known?
it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes and yes.
Wait. I'm sorry. What was your question?
No, I'm just
Is
going to
she,
keep
is
the
she
yes.
still in it?
Is she still in it? And was she
my
well
gosh.
known?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I doubt I would know who it is, but you can tell us later.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, she's even started like a couple production companies. Like she's
Good for
wow.
her.
she's honestly she's probably one of the smartest people I know.
Wow.
Like so smart. She's not like the. I'm not trying to stereotype most
Oh yeah.
of those people in that industry, but
Sure.
a lot of the women in that industry will just get involved with drugs and they burn out and
Yeah.
then they're just nothing. She's
just coping,
not
but
that.
she's
not that person.
She's seeing it as a business and like really
Very much so.
capitalizing on it. Good for her.
What happened with you
Each
guys?
their own. Yeah, what happened?
Like we're still friends.
Okay. This has now become a psychological podcast or psychology podcast, and we would like
don't
you
wanna
to
talk
tell us
about
all
it.
your time.
No. Like we just there were just certain things that like I was doing in my life that didn't kind of mix with her life, honestly.
Sure.
But nothing against her in any way.
It's a lifestyle. I'm
Yeah, it's a
sure.
definite
I can't even
lifestyle.
imagine. So, I know nothing about it, but
It's a definite thing, but I mean, she handled it very well. She's still very smart. I mean, she's actually an investor. Like,
good for her.
I keep trying to get her. I'm like, hey, would you want to invest in my
You
stuff?
want to buy some property?
Yeah. And she's
found shit
like,
on the floor.
yeah, she's like, I can't right now, but in time. I'm like, sweet.
Cool.
So,
I love that.
yeah.
And are you still trying the acting thing? Like, do you ever?
I'm on casting websites, but this year I'm more focused on the real estate side of things because I have a tendency to draw myself too thin with too many things.
Right. Yeah.
And I realize like if I draw myself too thin, much like everybody, it's like I can't focus on the one.
No,
So
it's true. And this business takes a lot of focus.
it
So,
does.
yeah.
But I mean, already this year, I mean, I'm just turning things around and, rebuilding the pipeline and
That's great.
Yeah.
So getting on podcasts, being awesome.
Hey.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you. On that note, thank
Yeah.
you so much for being here.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having
This
me.
was super.
Some
You
good
did
stories.
great. See, you had some great stories.
Yeah.
He literally was like, I don't know if I have to. I'm like, I know you do.
Oh, yeah,
I know
that's
you
great.
do.
Yeah. Like think back on all
Yeah.
your clients. I'm like,
He's like, okay. And then we're texting.
got
He's like,
one.
I got a couple. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, good. No, you did great. Thank
got
you so
yours.
much.
thank you.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Behind the Lockbox is produced and edited by Property Showcase Group. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review this podcast. Thanks for your support. See you next week.